get the good stuff.
If you do vehicle repairs yourself or have someone else do it for you, make sure you use quality Napa Auto Parts from Napa of Perham. We carry most every replacement part to help you get the job done right. From lubricants and tires to belts and bolts, Napa has proven their reputation over the years, and we use them in our own shop. At Napa of Perham, we fix everything from oil changes to major repairs, and we feature ASE certified mechanics.
Get the good stuff.
We're Napa of Perham. Give us a call or stop in today.
We're here today to talk tires. When we get customers that come in our store, they usually have two questions. We have two questions for them. What size is your tire and what kind of driving do you do? Well, a lot of times folks will say, well, I do a lot of city driving, or I do a lot of highway driving, or I do a lot of off-road driving. Depending on the type of driving you do is how we're going to fit your tires for you. And most of the time when we ask a customer, what size tire do you need? They'll say, well, I just know it's black and it's round, and that's about it. Well, there's a way to figure out what tire size you're going to need for your vehicle by looking at the side of the tire. You'll see a number or a series of numbers on the side of the tire which indicates the tire size. On this particular tire, we've got a 235 75R16. Now, what that means is it's a Series 235. The 75 in the middle of that series, or those numbers, is what they call the aspect ratio. And what that is the ratio of the width of the tire to the height of the tire. The higher the number, the narrower your tire is going to look on your rim. So a 75 series tire is going to be a little bit narrower than something in a 60 or a 55 series tire. Now, we try to match up the tire size with the original equipment tires that are on the vehicle, since everything on your vehicle, including your speedometer, is already metered, and it's designed to carry that size tire in order to keep your speedometer the same. People now will wonder, well, what type of tire should I have on my vehicle? This is an average passenger style tire. This is what they call an all-season tire. It's a very popular tread design. It's got great siping on the sides. It repels water nice, holds the road in all kinds of driving conditions. This is a very popular tire for most passenger vehicles. Now, if you're into the light trucks and SUVs, you're going to want to go with more of a light truck tire. This is designed for most light trucks, your Broncos, your Blazers, those kind of vehicles. This is what they call an aggressive tread tire, or an AT. A lot of times you'll see the letters AT or HT on the tire. And what that means, the AT means an aggressive tread, which has got a lot wider spacing between some of the lugs on the tires, and it's designed for more traction in adverse conditions. Or an HT tire is very similar to this style of tire. That's if you're going to put tires on your pickup where you do a lot of city driving, a lot of highway driving. This is more of an off-road tire. Now, people will ask, well, when should I put new tires on? The best indicator on tires is what they call wear bars. And on the tires, there's vertical lines that run the length of the tire, and there's horizontal pieces of rubber inside the tread. Now, when your tread wears down to the level of those horizontal pieces, that means it's time to put new tires on. And sometimes people will come in and say, well, I've got a tire that's wearing a little funny. When we see those things, this is an example of a tire that came off a vehicle in which they had an alignment problem. And what happens is the vehicle's alignment toe was off, so the tire was running a little crooked, and it started wearing bald on the inside. So we can not only tell the customer, well, of course you need new tires, but you've got an alignment issue too. And then vehicles that the shock absorbers are getting bad on, we'll wear with a real cupping noise. And you'll be able to hear a lot of noise on the road with this kind of wear on your tires. So if you're looking for tires and you're not sure what to get, stop by someday and we'll show you what you need.
Seniors, get ready for a day of excitement and enrichment at the Celebrate Aging Expo presented by Essentia Health, Wednesday, May 14th from 9 to 1 at the Holiday Inn in Detroit Lakes. This event is free. There's over 40 vendors, amazing door prizes, coffee, treats, and samples, blood pressure checks, make and take crafts sponsored by Jack Chivers Realty and Black Sheep Quilt Company, bingo, and more. Celebrate Aging Expo Wednesday, May 14th from 9 to 1 at the Holiday Inn Detroit Lakes. Brought to you by Central Market, Bell Bank, and Ecumen of Detroit Lakes.
Heart of the Lakes Outdoors is brought to you in part by Dalton Outdoors, your complete hunting headquarters, 1 mile west of Dalton on County 82.
Welcome to Heart of the Lakes Outdoors. I'm Greg Ressler, Mike Ebevold. We're at Dalton Outdoors, and yes, a couple of shows we've been surrounded by these clothes, and
we got a lot of them.
We get to talk about them. All right, why don't we start with what do you see as the best alternative for deer hunting?
A lot of times when you look at deer hunting, it's going to apply now more so than ever is that new license that's out, the all-season bug tag, where you can bow hunt, you can rifle hunt, and then you turn around, you got black powder, and you follow that back up with bow hunting again. So from September 15th all the way through the end of December, you can hunt deer. And fitting you for clothes, I mean, you got your lightweight stuff, and that's why a lot of these 4-in-1 parkas that are breathable, they're windproof, they're waterproof, and you can peel and layer, which is the big thing with hunting. I mean, you hear a lot of people talk about it. You talk about it from the time you're in school till the time you die, is you got to dress in layers, because when you're warm, you got to peel off. When you're walking your deer stand, you don't need big, heavy parkers on, but you got to be able to put them on when you get there.
Absolutely, and that's a great point. I mean, if you're going to sit idle for a while, you want to stay warm because you get cold really fast. But then when you're walking, all of a sudden you heat up pretty fast.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what you look at here. And you can see we've got a large array of clothing up here. We've got everything from snow camo to orange camo to the new shadow grass to the Max 4 to some of the hardwoods. I mean, there's all kinds of different camo here, and the best thing to do is to fit you up and get you as close as we can. There's some other ways too to buy a great suit and then put a cover-up suit over the top of it, so you're not spending all that money. Buy yourself a real good suit, then buy yourself a $39, $49 cover suit, which is the pants and the top, which is a lightweight deal. So you're not having to buy 3-4 different kinds of suits.
Okay, how about, say, feet?
That is a number one. They'll come in here and they'll buy a $199 pair of boots. And then they put on their white tube socks full of cotton. And then they come back and say their feet got cold. Well, you've got to have the boots, but probably more important than the boots is the socks. And there's some great products out there. There's the Outlast fabric, which has got a great deal. I can't really explain to you how it works other than I know it works because I wear their socks. It pulls the heat away from your feet when you're walking, and it sucks it back when you're sitting. How it works, I don't know, but I know it works, and I've used this stuff. And that's the one thing you're going to find out about our shop down here is that we don't preach what we've got. We use what we've got, and then we give you our experience.
And that has been the number one attitude about Dalton Outdoors and Mike's attitude since we started the show. It is about what is going to make you the most comfortable and let your hunting experience be the most enjoyable as it possibly can be. But along with that, you rose an excellent point, and that is, it isn't always just the boot. Exactly. It is the sock as well. Exactly.
It's what you put inside that boot that really makes you warm. And some of these guys will come in and say, well, I wear 2 pairs of socks. Wearing 2 pairs of socks is not always the best thing in the world. And it depends on what you put in there as a sock. You don't always have to have that real thick wool sock to be your best thing. These Outlast socks are just like a tube sock. They're thin, they're comfortable, and you're not walking with all that bulk inside your boot. Especially if you're out if you go on a pack trip where you got horses. Mm-hmm. The biggest thing is to make sure your feet fit inside that stirrup. Because if your feet get in there and they're too tight and that horse throws you, you're going to be dragging.
Yeah.
So your boot has to fit comfortably in that stirrup, and these big gaudy boots don't fit in there. So you have to have a nice pair of boots. So it depends on how you're hunting too.
Okay, I guess the last topic we'll cover is hands.
There again, it all comes up to if you're bow hunting, you're going to want some scent lock. You're going to start out early. You're probably just going to put like a trigger glove on, or you're going to put like a mosquito netting thing on so the bugs don't get you. As the time goes on, it depends on how you're hunting. Bow hunting, you can use a mitten on your hand. And actually duck hunting you can, because there's more warmth in a mitten than there is in a glove. Because your fingers are all contained within the thing, so you're getting heat all from all your fingers.
I found that to be true myself.
And what you'll find out with your trigger finger is to have a nice wool glove. And I use a lot of wool ones that don't have the fingers on them, because my main hand stays warm. And when you're sitting in the blind, if you got a good coat with good pockets in it, and you throw a hand warmer in there, you're going to be fine.
That's true. That's very true. Excellent advice, and I'd highly advise you to take the advice, because it is effective. And once you, just like a gun locking up, once you pull your trigger finger out, you want it available, and you don't want to be messing with any mittens or gloves.
Yeah, and a lot of time your mittens are too big to fit in the trigger housing. And you see this, and I've seen it myself when we've been hunting. A person slides his finger into the trigger housing and happens to hit the safe before he puts his finger in there. That gun will go off because it's just too bulky on the finger. There's not a lot of room when you're talking the trigger housing between the trigger and the front. And if you're wearing these big ski gloves and you push them in there, your gun might go off.
Absolutely. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this week's edition of Heart of the Lakes Outdoors, talking clothing at Dalton Outdoors. I'm Greg Ressler, Mike Ebevold. Thanks for watching.